this, and we saw what happened. I mean, you know, whether it was for show or not, you know, it's sad. I'm glad to see that they're out being active, protesting at the Capitol. I hope the other day, I wasn't able to get up here, you know, for the DUID hearing this week, but I'm hoping everybody got together and protested as one. Because there were a lot of, the way that I see what we do and you know, gay rights issues and the homelessness, which we're going to touch on in a minute, is it's all civil rights. We're all in the same boat. These are all civil rights that are being infringed upon that we have got to stand together and fight against. We've got to cross the lines even out of the cannabis world. You know, I try, when I have time, I try to do what I can outside of our world. It's not always so easy. But yeah, the homeless ban, or what is it? No camping. Is that how they phrased it? And that's a Denver City thing, I believe. We've got a guest later. We're going to talk to about all these issues and get into a little more detail, but you know, that's just another prime example. Here we are in a country where we have millions of empty houses that are just sitting there. And I've actually discussed this with friends and my other half in conversation. The bank loses money on those houses sitting there. They depreciate. They have to take care of upkeep. If they were to work out programs to house the homeless in these houses, we would still have millions of empty houses. After we housed every last person, the bank, you know, the bank and the governments could work together to have a, okay, you pay us as you can type program. The houses are filled, the houses are maintained, the crime goes down. Where's the common sense in our world? Instead, let's criminalize these people who don't have a place to live. Let's feed them into the system. Let's make money for the machines, for the stockholders in the prison companies that we talked about last week with Mr. Gallagher. I mean, it's absurd, and we have to call this out. You know, I don't know any other way to be nice about it. These are just ridiculous things happening in our society, and if we don't point them out, who does? So that's enough negative stuff for a minute.
Well, we've missed the MMED, actually the MMCED. People always forget that criminal C part of it.
Yeah, because we're criminals.
Are broke because, yes, we're criminals and they're looking at us. So they're broke and they were trying to get money from, who was it?
They were trying to take money out of basically the medical fund.
CDPHE.
Right. That's untouchable under the Amendment 20.
But that didn't happen, which I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that could go into a whole big discussion, you know. What's going to happen? If there's no people to process my red card, they might have to go back and just recognize my doctor's note and say, okay, you don't have to pay the state $35 to tell them you're sick.
But who's going to regulate all the dispensaries?
Oh, God. I mean, that'd be scary because we know how dangerous dispensaries are. Now, I say that, but I think that regulation is important, and not so much for the criminal aspect of it as with the feds picking at us. If, you know, and I think we've talked about this on the show. In my eyes, every time the feds come in and raid a dispensary in Colorado, it should be, I don't know how they get around it. Maybe this is why they're not here often. They should have to prosecute the state of Colorado. When you guys do your licensing, you know, all that does is makes you business partners, per se, with the state of Colorado.
Well, when you're talking about that, though, we're also paying city, state, and federal taxes.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
They're in bed with us also.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in regulation and all of that. I think I'm more for trying to end prohibition through a grassroots movement. Only because I see that regulation and laws and stipulations around this only creates criminals. So if they can't make money off of you trying to go and get your red card and off your business licenses and off of every penny out there, no other business has been scrutinized like this business. So
absolutely,
I fully support the new black market that's unfolding, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme, I agree with you. I think eventually, you know, repeal. I've preached repeal for years. I think in the society we're in, though, I think that's going to be a really big first step. You know, I've been listening for the last week or two for all these people, butting heads over my initiatives better than yours, and I want to badmouth this, and I want to do this. Why? And we had this discussion at our board meeting the other night, and our stance is, why can't we pass all of the initiatives? They're all going to pass. They're all going to be implemented. Everyone's happy. You know, I'm sorry, I see holes in every single one of them, and I think some of them work together to plug those holes instead of, you know, hating on each other and spending money on flyers that bash the other campaign.
Right.
Let's spend money to help each other.
There
you
needs
know,
to
let's
be
educate
some form
people.
of unification out there, absolutely. And I've completely seen over my travels lately that, you know, every single organization, every single nonprofit in this industry, everyone's got internal conflict going on within their own business.
Sure.
So with the internal
Not here at
conflict,
iCannabis Radio. We love each other.
Right, but in the internal conflict then goes out to, you know, competition with the other organizations and nonprofits out there, and everyone wants to be recognized and all of this stuff.
Well, and what we're seeing now, I know, you know, I'm part of the board in the Springs on the Medical Cannabis Council, and we're working with like 12 groups right now on a couple different projects. I think it's getting a lot better. There was a long time where I was scared to come to Denver because of all the drama. I stayed away. I stayed in the Springs. I protested for Bob and Elisa, did my thing there. I think I've seen it get a lot better. I think it has to. If it doesn't, we're going to end up like California. Nothing's going to be legal. We're going to be in the same spot we're in right now. People are still going to be going to prison. So I think that's just food for thought. That was Miss Shauna Banda. I haven't even introduced you guys yet. We've got her, and we've got Mr. Nate from Canapages. You want Colorado or Canapages? Or?
Well, soon to be national. But yeah, for right now, it's we're based here in Denver, so we've kind of concentrated on the Colorado industry for the last 2.5 years. And
yeah, man, you guys, I mean, you helped Overgrow in our beginnings. We're still in our beginnings because we procrastinate. But we appreciate that. You know, you guys, I like businesses that are Colorado bred. So that's, you know, where my admiration for you guys comes in. We're going to take a commercial break here in just a second, and then we've cut you short just a little bit, but we're going to come back and hear your story and chat with you a little bit.
No problem.
So stay with us here on Overgrow the Radio on iCannabisRadio.com.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado, and remember,
always be kind to each other.
The law offices of Etzen, Maiden, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenetzen.com.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub. And this is Dust. We're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime. And we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp warehouse. That's right, you can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel, WPTVJDub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing. Ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20/2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
And welcome back. We're here at iCannabis Radio tonight.
We are?
No, we're not.
I can't hear me.
You're not. I
You
can't
hear
hear
me?
me either.
I'm silent. That's okay. I've been silenced.
Told me to turn your headphones down.
So we're gonna jump backwards, right?
We are.
We got sidetracked and start yakking because that's what we do. We like to cause trouble and talk
I don't
a
know
lot.
why we'd be on the radio if we like to talk a lot.
You know, I can't figure that one out yet. So we're very honored to have a couple great guests. We're gonna talk first with Miss Shauna Banda. Shauna is a survivor of Crohn's disease, and we're going to let her just jump in and tell us how she did that and tell us her story.
Okay, well, hi guys. Back in 2002, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and that led to 15 surgeries and every organ being taken out that I can have taken out. And they had started me on Remicade, which I thought was an amazing drug for a while. 2 weeks out of the 8 weeks that I was supposed to be on it, I had lots of energy and I could clean my house and all that good stuff.
I thought that about Vicodin at one time.
Yeah. and then my lungs collapsed twice in a month, and my husband went in and got me a glass dome vaporizer, but he went and got me a cheap one. I was really mad at him and tried it for pain, and it didn't work. Put it away for a while. Well, we're in Kansas, so
oh God.
Medicine is really hard to find, and the town went dry, and of course it's in the middle of winter. And so he finally found some stuff, but it was so seedy it made me puke just smoking it. So I pulled out that vaporizer just to try to get some kind of relief, because at that point I had tried Humira and been off of it, and was going into the emergency room with them telling me, sorry, there's nothing that we could do for you. And I pulled out that vaporizer and forgot about it and pinched the hose off too long. And my husband walks in and goes, "Is that the same oil from the movie, you think?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know." So we went and started putting my finger in that bowl as far as I could just to taste it. And it was all right. It was a nice green, thick, like green grassy taste. You know, it doesn't really taste like cannabis. But it's, you know, he went out and got me a spatula, and we scooped it into a pill 3 times a day, because that's the suggested dosage that Rick puts out on his website. And, you know, whenever I had a hump or I started feeling extra pain or, you know, anything that would come up, I would just take more oil until I got over it, and then, you know, continued on. I wrote the book and then came out here to Colorado and started making RSO oil in as many different forms as I could.
What's the best way?
That I love both ways. It all depends on what you're wanting. There are so many different variables that regulation almost can't be had. The oil is completely different with each solvent used. Okay, so I've used isopropyl, which in my experience is the most psychoactive. And then the next psychoactive would be Everclear or grain alcohol extraction. And then from that would be the naphtha. And then the absolute lowest extraction is the psychoactive effects is the vaporizer with no solvent at all, absolute pure heat. It all depends on what you can get your hands on as well, because trying to make RSO oil, you've got to have large quantities. And even after you get your 2 ounces, you've still got to make more so that you can have your maintenance dose after. So, you know, I got to Colorado and I started making all of these different oils and experimenting on different patients. And with many, many different patients, they're all, you know, starting to get better, but on an RSO oil, it takes them a good 3 to 4 weeks to acclimate on it. You know, the first few weeks, you're really tired, you're really foggy, you're groggy. It is just like another medicine.
Sure.
Anytime you're given Percocet for the first time or OxyContin for the first time, you get, whoa.
There's an adjustment period.
There's an absolute adjustment period. You have to learn how to put on your clothes in the morning with it and, you know, function throughout the day, try to learn how to cook and do dishes. The same thing is with oil made with a solvent. The thing is if people don't have the money to get large amounts to make that kind of an oil, they can always go and get this glass dome vaporizer that I've found. You can do it in small amounts.
Hopefully for not much, you know, it won't be much longer. That won't be an issue here in Colorado anyway. The commercial leading in is something we promote pretty heavily, the Stanley brothers and their realm of caring. You know, I showed you before the show a 10 milligram vial of oil they're getting to cancer patients for less than 10 cents.
That's amazing.
It's like $600 worth of oil. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, we encourage every dispensary out there. You know, they sponsor our show. We're trying to get the word out. We got the banner up tonight. You know, every dispensary should be donating to this cause. I mean, anyone in business, anyone making money should be giving that back to patients.
Anyone out there that has a pocketbook ready to donate to any cancer society, MS society, all of those traditional forms need to readjust and find something to invest in cannabis with, because this is where it's going.
Absolutely.
Well, and what most people don't understand is those cancer patients, they're not well enough to work. They don't have any money. They don't have any way to get medical care sometimes at all. And so it's really, really important that somebody help them. And that somebody's got to be all of us.
Yeah, it is, and it's not just the medicine aspect. We got to be friends too, because
absolutely.
I mean, you can relate. You went through a healing process, and I'm sure a lot of that healing process for you was having people around and enjoying life. I think your whole lifestyle when you have Crohn's or any type of cancer or other debilitating disease for that matter, it's the whole picture, So having the medicine and not having to worry about that is huge. And you can focus on the other things in your life and focus on healing.
It's very important once you start the medicine to continue on the medicine, because when you're first starting your healing process, if you run out early on, the faster you're going to regress. And the longer that you're on this cannabis, the better off you're going to be. So, and that's just all there is to it, And if you're scared of psychoactive effects while you're trying this oil, we found in a grassroots effort that you can take dark chocolate, which is like over 70% dark cocoa. For some reason, the dark cocoa and the dark chocolate, or the natural cocoa and the dark chocolate, will offset your high. So if you get way too high, where you're paranoid, a lot of people can just get too high where they just don't like it and they're uncomfortable. So taking some dark chocolate, drinking a glass of milk, maybe even eating a bowl of cereal, that will always help offset it. And if
so that's why I like my Cocoa Pebbles so much.
Yes.
Shauna, we're going to ask you here in a couple minutes. We're going to cut again to commercial, but we're going to ask you to stick around for a little bit in the second hour and finish up and tell us about your book and talk about a couple other things before we get into our adventurous second hour. And we've also got Nate here. We're going to get him in here in just a few minutes to chat about some stuff. After the break, though, we're going to be talking to my rep from Manitou/Colorado Springs in District 18, Pete Lee. I'm excited about that. I met Pete at Occupy. We had a great conversation one night. And Pete stands on our side on most all issues. And I say our side as in the majority, even though sometimes we're referred to as the minority. So we're going to cut out of here for a minute. We'll be right back on Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding, Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub. And this is Dust. We're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime. And we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp warehouse. That's right. You can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel WPTVJDub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing, ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20/2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Welcome back to Overgrow the Radio. I think I'll keep my lady and just cry once in a while.
I think that's a good idea.
I think she'll like that answer. So we're back. We're going to dial up our representative real quick here. So you may hear some ringing. Ignore the ringing. Pretend it's music.
Live dial a rep.
Yes. You can turn it down. And you're just now telling me that?
I've been doing that.
This is Pete.
Hey, Pete. It's Jason at Overgrow the Radio. How are you?
Good, Jason. How are you? I was just trying to call you.
Yeah. We got you here live with myself, Elisa Kappelman, a couple of our guests, Shauna Banda, and Nate from Canopages.
Very good.
Thank you for coming on this evening. I gave you a brief introduction before we called you. I want to give you props and our endorsement here. You do a great job for us down there. You're actually my rep personally. I live in Manitou, so I appreciate all your hard work. So we've had a busy week. That's why, the other night we're sitting around and I thought, well, I'd love to get Representative Lee on here and address these things, because it's been, you guys, you went out with a bang, so to speak.
Well, we did, and I'd be happy to comment on that for you. Actually, I just sent out a newsletter, and I quoted closely T.S. Eliot in The Hollow Men, where I said, this is the way the session ends, not with a bang but a whimper, because we sort of imploded on Tuesday night and then came back and did some work on Wednesday and then got recalled by the governor. But my assessment of that, quite frankly, is were it not for the procedural tactics used by the majority to prevent a vote of the full House on the civil unions bill, we would not have needed to come back to a special session. But the majority leader and speaker knew that if the full House voted on the civil unions bill, it would pass. And they were determined not to have that vote because they didn't want it to pass. But the collateral damage of that was an additional 29 bills that were on the calendar. So the specific tactic that they used is the old tactic of filibustering. They just talked and talked at length about secondary and not the most important things in the world, just to avoid having the civil unions bill come up on the calendar. And we even brought up a resolution on civility, if you see the irony of that, which had been on the calendar for a couple of months and not been brought up, and they decided to bring that up on this last-minute procedural maneuver in order, again, to avoid having the full House vote on the civil unions bill. So all the bills that were on the calendar, along with civil unions, died. Some of them got brought back and were fixed on the following day, on Wednesday, and then the governor called the special session, and one of the bills on the calendar for special sessions, along with the civil unions, was the DUI, driving under the influence of drugs bill, which I know you're particularly interested in. That bill, as you may know, ended up being passed out of the House and went to the Senate on Wednesday, yesterday, and in the Senate it was voted on and went to a 17-17 vote and thus died. So that bill is dead.
Right, absolutely. And to digress a little on the civil unions, that was sad, I think, for a lot of us. I give the governor, I said earlier, I give him kudos for calling you guys back in to debate it. And, of course, you and everyone else who stood for it. I hope to see that back, in the next session. I really do.
I would be shocked if it did not come back. Minority Leader Ferrandino, who was the sponsor of the bill, said he was going to keep bringing it back until it passed.
Good.
And if it doesn't, fall prey to the procedural tactics, in other words, if it gets an opportunity to be voted on, it will pass.
Sure. Yeah, and that's what we need. We talked earlier, all these issues that seem to happen, the homeless, the camping ban, the DUID, and the civil unions tie into civil rights. And it's great to see, for the most part, most legislators who take the stand take it on them, all of them. To jump into the DUID, I'm all for a healthy debate, and I was saying earlier, I personally am in favor of regulation. I think working with the state is in our best interest at this point in time. Until the federal government backs off, then we can maybe deregulate a little bit. That being said, when we make laws, and you've exhibited nothing but common sense, so I know that seems like a stupid statement, but unfortunately it's not all that common these days. When we make laws, we want to base them on science. I think we can all agree on that. And with the DUID bill, the only science that has been out there shows no negative impact. I mean, if they can't do a study that actually shows me that cannabis impairs me, and especially setting a limit on that, so low, it's, to me, that's just absurd and a little insane to make laws without that science. I mean, I think that's my big hang-up.
I can't disagree with that. We need to have factual basis and scientific rationale behind the statutes that we create, and the evidence that was presented to the committee. I was on the Judiciary Committee both last year and this year that heard the testimony on the DUID bill, and quite frankly, the testimony was conflicting in a lot of respects. It was conflicting as to whether the tests that are given distinguish between the Delta-9 THC, the active metabolite, and Delta-11 carboxy-THC and the non-psychoactive properties. So,
well, and
on
that note,
conflicting evidence on that.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, what a lot of people don't know, Pete, is CBDs and CBNs actually act to counteract the THC. So the higher, if a lot of patients use medicine that's higher in the CBDs, so that actually essentially takes pretty much all of that psychoactive effect away.
Well, yeah, and we need information upon which to base a decision. And what I was distressed with, quite frankly, and what caused me difficulty with the evidence was that it wasn't really that definitive. Whether or not edibles and lotions contain Delta-9, whether or not the roadside tests are to be used, and whether in fact they're validated for cannabis.
Sure.
You know, I think it's recognized that cannabis may affect distance perception and reaction times and hand-eye coordinations, but I don't think there's any evidence to establish that those are impacted in the driving setting.
Well, and that's debatable. I mean, the thing with cannabis right now is all of this science is so new. You know, a lot of these older studies, you know, there were so many things that I used to think. What I like to point out with the DUID is there's folks like me out there. I suffer from severe pain. I had a failed back operation. For me to do things such as clean my house, do laundry, drive a car, I have to use cannabis. Otherwise, I'm on my couch in pain. For me to sit in a car for more than 15 minutes is very painful. I've done it more than I care to admit, and it's not fun. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I think we can all get on the same page as lawmakers, patients. You know, the scientists are very excited in this. Dr. Alan Shackelford and Dr. Bob Melamed are doing some very exciting things with research right now. I think we've got a long way to go. There's a couple other issues that aren't cannabis related I wanted to touch real quick with you on.
Sure. Let me say this too about the cannabis issue before we change to something else, and that is that, you know, we are all safety conscious, and safety on the highways is a major concern, and everyone wants to, you know, prevent impaired drivers from being on the road, whether they're from alcohol or from drugs, and whether that's cannabis or any other kind of drugs.
Absolutely.
OxyContin or any kind of prescription medications. So we begin from that standpoint, but if we're going to legislate to deal with a drug, it really needs to be on a rational basis. And right now, there already is an offense on the book called driving while impaired. It applies to drugs, it applies to alcohol, and district attorneys, from what we heard in testimony at the hearing, have a 90% conviction rate. So they are already convicting people that they pull over for being impaired with the existing laws. What they want to do is have this automatic conviction just by testing the nanograms in the blood.
Well, and I think,
like they do with alcohol. And that's the problem I think we have, is that you and I are talking about the science, but that's really the motivation behind it, to make it easier to convict people, though they have a very high conviction rate right now with the laws that are in effect.
Right, and I've had this discussion off the show with people, you know, and it's probably a testament to why you don't see a lot of cannabis DUIs. I've not met many people who have gotten them, and I work in this industry. And there's probably a reason for that, because, you know, a lot of times when you use it as medication, your body gets used to it and you're not impaired. So when you're pulled over, there's no reason to go through the routine. Being said, I think on that subject, on a party note, there's two studies we were just talking about a little while ago that show in medical states, and I think personally this is a direct correlation. Folks switch over from pharmaceuticals to cannabis, which is obviously a safer, less intoxicating medication. And there's a drop in traffic fatalities by almost 10% in the 16 states studied that have cannabis legal as medicine. So I think, I've
read that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the more of these that come out and the more science we have, the better. Pete, let's real quick. We're going to have to cut to commercial in just a couple minutes, but I wanted to get your opinion, and I know this was a city issue, but you and I met way back at Occupy. We had a conversation late one night, I believe. And, you were always a proponent of Occupy and our right to be there and protest. I wanted to get your opinion on Denver passing the camping ban.
Do you want to wait till after the commercial, or you just want me to offer my thought on that?
Go for it.
At this stage. Well, to be honest with you, I was so involved in the legislative session that I saw headlines and read some articles about the camping ban in Denver, and but I don't know in detail what the provisions of that statute are, so I'm a little bit, or that city ordinance are, so I'm a little bit reluctant to offer my thoughts and opinions on something But generally, I think people have the right to be out and about, and I think
Sure.
that's a fundamental civil right.
Sure.
And I think the right to protest is a fundamental civil right and goes to kind of the basis of what our country was founded upon, the protection of people's right to go out and be different than the majority. And we go a long way to protect the minority. So I guess that's where I come from generally on those kinds of issues, is that we need to protect the minority from oppression. And if we're going to declare homelessness illegal, then we really need to address the root causes of homelessness. And
Absolutely.
I don't think, quite frankly, it's a housing problem as much as it is a mental health problem and a substance problem.
Sure. Well, Pete, I'd love to have you back on to address more of this stuff in detail sometime.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
And we'll get your opinion on that later. once
Okay.
you research.
We have a chat window on our internet radio, and one of our listeners, Meg, wanted to say thank you, Pete Lee. So I just wanted you to know that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Keep up the good work, sir, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye. All right, guys, we're going to cut out to a commercial. I think, I do a segment, or started a segment, Stickman versus the government. And we've done it. This is our third week of it. And this week I told Chris, our producer, that I wanted to twist it a little bit. It's been negative the first 2 weeks. We called Dan May's office and John Southers, maybe. I can't remember. We've called a lot of people. That's what we do. And this week, I wanted to highlight Pete, because Pete does a lot of really great work in our community. We need people like that in our legislature. That's the only way we're ever going to get things done. So kudos to him, and keep up the good work, and keep listening to us here on iCannabisRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub, and this is Dust. We're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime, and we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp warehouse. That's right, you can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel WPTVJDub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing. Ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding, Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
And we're back here on Overgrow the Radio. Oh, I had to listen for a minute to see what song that was. Yeah, I don't keep up with our music. Our producer does a great job. He just go with it, man. So we're going to jump back in. We're going to call my buddy out in D.C., Morgan Fox. Morgan works with a group that I really like called Marijuana Policy Project. They do things that I don't want to do. They put on suits and ties, and they go walk the hollows of D.C. and hobnob with our representatives on a daily basis. So they also work with Overgrow. They've done a lot to help us.
So are they lobbyists? Or?
Per se. We'll let him...
Hello?
Hey, Morgan, it's Jason at Overgrow the Radio. How are you?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. You're here live with myself, my co-host Elisa, Shauna Banda, and Nate from Canna Pages. Oh, and of course our producer over here in the corner, working hard. So
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on. We just had Representative Pete Lee. We've been kind of hitting tonight. You know, Shauna got into her story, but we've been talking about, you know, the DUID out here, and some things going on out here. The civil union bill. We had a homeless issue here in D.C. So we've been all over the place. But I wanted to bring you in. We're a little behind schedule, but I want you to give a quick overview first of what MPP does there in D.C. and really all over the country.
Well, for the most part, we're a state lobbying organization. We try to pass marijuana laws on a state level and sometimes on a local level because we found that that's where we can actually get some traction. We still lobby Congress and try to do things on a federal level too, but you know, as we can see from the backlash we've gotten from the Obama administration, it's not looking real good at that level.
Yeah, man, that was actually one of the points I wanted to talk to you about is MPP's stance right now on all the federal intervention, the letters they've sent here to Colorado, the things they've done, you know, last year in Montana, California. We really, I think we all had hoped that things were going to be different. What do you guys feel? I mean, in the last few years since Obama took office, what are your feelings?
I mean, we really just have to continue to bring attention to this issue, and it is starting to get a lot more of attention recently. I mean, since the Summit of the Americas, when the Obama administration was forced to actually clarify their drug policy stance a little bit, you've seen a lot of people pushing back against that. But in general, I mean, Obama has been worse than any other president on this issue.
Right on. We were just talking with our well, he's actually my representative down in Manitou Springs where I live, Pete Lee. You know, he stood up against the DUID bill here, and he pretty much agreed with us that there needs to be science supporting the fact that you're impaired. Anyone with logic, you know, could come to that conclusion. I mean, you guys, and I apologize if you've put stuff out that I've missed. How do you feel about that, you know, pushing for the DUID limits in different medical states? Do you think that's appropriate, or do you guys kind of take the stance that we do, you know, you need science before laws?
Oh, yeah, you absolutely need science, and so far there is no real scientific standard for what constitutes impairment for blood chemical test. And there's absolutely no reason to start writing laws when we don't even know if they're going to be effective just to make us feel better. They might not have any positive benefit whatsoever, and in the meantime we'll be taking away people's rights. But the real point is that there's already tools available for law enforcement to determine impairment, regardless of what substances someone may or may not be on, or whether they're just too tired. And that's standardized field sobriety testing. Police officers are trained in it, and there are specialty training available now to make them even more adept at determining if somebody is impaired, and even on strange substances that a lot of officers don't really get a chance to see too much. And there's absolutely no reason we should be clogging up the court system, potentially violating people's rights, and spending a lot of tax dollars on testing when there's absolutely no need for it.
Absolutely. I think we all agree. We had a discussion at the council down in Colorado Springs the other night, and came to the conclusion that we can't support any bill unless it shows your impairment. There's so many factors that play into that. Body size, your weight, your height. And I like to joke that some people are just impaired naturally. Why aren't we regulating them? We also talked about the recent studies that show the fatalities are down in medical states, traffic fatalities by almost 10%. What I see happening there is folks are moving away from prescription drugs and moving to cannabis. They know it's safer. It's the whole education thing. It's what we're doing. People are getting educated. I think pharmaceuticals cause that impairment, and I think that is that 10%. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Well, actually, what they found, that same study found that alcohol sales dropped 5% in states where traffic fatalities dropped 9%. So there's definitely a portion of that. Either among the seriously ill population that might be self-medicating with alcohol, or just people that generally don't feel the need to drink anymore now that they're able to access cannabis.
Absolutely.
But I think that that's a really big point in that. That study really has been, aside from among the marijuana reform community, has been kind of ignored.
Absolutely, sir. Well, Morgan, we are running very short on time, but you guys help Overgrow out indirectly and get us some logistical help here and there. And I want get your info out for MPP if folks want to get involved. How do they get in contact with you?
Just go to mpp.org, or if you have any media ideas, just email them to media@mpp.org.
Absolutely,
also
sir.
Available on Facebook and Twitter.
We'd like to invite you back again when we have some more time. There's a million issues you and I could go into, I'm sure.
I'd love to come on anytime.
Thank you for coming on tonight. And we'll let you rest up. It's a little later out on the East Coast than it is here.
That's quite all right.
Keep up all the hard work, man, and we appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. So I think what we need to do now is cut back to commercial again, because we got to pay the bills and keep these lights on. So we'll be right back to Overgrow the Radio.
From National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand grown by the Stanley Brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand grown by the Stanley Brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub, and this is Dust. We're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime, and we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp Warehouse. That's right, you can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel, WPTV J-Dub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing. Ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding, Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20/2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Now we're back. I was trying to talk into a dead mic.
Welcome back to Overgrow the Radio.
What's happening? It's been a great show so far. We crammed a lot into this first hour. We're actually running behind on our first hour. Our next guest is a friend of mine. When I started Overgrow, just from a conversation a long time ago, seems like a long time ago, Nate and Canopages were one of the first organizations to email me and say, what's this all about, and really jump on board. They built our first website and helped us along the way. So welcome. How are you, sir?
Hey, good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So tell us about Canopages.
Well, like I kind of mentioned earlier, we were founded in late 2009. We are based right in Denver. And kind of our biggest thing is bringing the industry together. You know, we kind of touched on that earlier, how there was a lot of drama and infighting in Denver, and we kind of see ourselves as kind of an organization or a company that really works to unite those different groups and stuff. Because personally, you know, we're a directory, so we're there to bring everyone together, a place
Sure.
where you can have free information and everyone.
Well, I think that was the common ground that brought us together, if I recall, when we first talked. You know, that's Overgrow too, that we all have to stand together on this. You know, we've all got differences. We can work those out down the road, you know.
Yeah, exactly, man. And we actually just helped found a nonprofit organization called the We Can Look Up Foundation, and we're kind of assembling the board of directors at the moment, and kind of finding out, you know, exactly the direction of the nonprofit. But Basically, it's going to be good works in Denver, and a lot of help for the needy, and just basically kind of what the name suggests. Looking towards a better future for everyone, regardless.
That's
of
awesome,
who you
dude.
are.
I mean, the big reason we brought you on is what we try to do here on Overgrow is every week we try to bring an organization on that does do stuff like that does, give back and help out. And, what you guys do in general, I mean, we all have to pay the bills. What that does is helps people out. I mean, you're new to the state. Where do I get good meds? What do I think about these meds? So continue.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and it's just it's been really awesome just to be in the industry and kind of watch it grow and meet new faces. Sad to say goodbye to some of those folks that kind of made their pitch and kind of fell by the wayside. But
sure,
we do donate a lot of web design, graphic design to businesses and companies that are just starting up or have some positive influence on Colorado in general. And originally I'm from Wisconsin. I've been here for a little over 5 years, and the DUID bill was specifically interesting to me because I was one of the first people in Wisconsin to actually get nailed for that. I was so it was 7 years ago, so I was a decent bit younger, and I was very honest with the police officer, and I told him, I was like, "Sir, no, I wasn't smoking in the car. Any of this trip. I smoked earlier this morning, so I'm not high at all." And unfortunately, he took that negatively, and I got taken to the station. And
oh God, in his mind, you were a dangerous pothead criminal.
Yeah,
I grew up in Illinois. I know that mentality in the Midwest.
They're excited when they can bust someone for that. It's a big deal, and I'm not sure. Well, I took a drug and alcohol class, and I was told as a retired state trooper that was putting the class on. He said that they have they're able to access evidence regardless of where it is, even if it's in your body. So they were able to forcibly take blood from me. And I'm pretty certain that it's like a 0 nanogram limit in Wisconsin, if whatever. But regardless, mine was definitely pretty high because I had I was in a motorcycle accident, and I was heavily using cannabis to kind of to take care of that pain.
Sure, and I mean the study I referred to earlier or referenced earlier that Fox News talks about in their article. There was one person I believe that had like 35 nanograms in their blood. That's 7 times what they're proposing as a limit, and it's not. I mean, it sounded like this person was functioning. It's sad. Being from prohibitionist states, we are victims of these things, and it still goes on. It's very eye-opening. I mean, what came about from that? I mean, has this trailed you from that? Have you had issues from your conviction, basically?
Honestly, well, yeah. I mean, I lost my driving privilege. I wasn't able to. I was going to college at the time. Wasn't able to keep my current job because I had to drive to it. So I ended up just being extremely poor, barely being able to eat for a while, and it just kind of it was an extra stress on someone that that was already trying to do his best to make his place in the world, better the world. So to me, I honestly felt a lot of anger to those cops. I felt like they ruined my life because it made things so much harder for me after that. And of course, coming out here, I do have my MMED badge. I had to get the official deposition of the case. I had to call back to those little tiny towns in Wisconsin, explain what was going on, get them to send it to me, and I got the badge, but it has trailed me to this day.
Well, and I mean, I guess that was my point of asking that is, that's one isolated case, your case, but it's millions. Millions of lives are ruined every year for harmless offenses that shouldn't even be offenses. It's absurd. So what are you guys up to these days? I know that Elisa and I were at one of the the mixers, and I believe it was also your 2-year anniversary birthday party.
That was some of the best cake I ever had.
I don't remember the cake. I think I was.
Yeah, give those props to my cousin D. We brought over it was almost a pound of trim, and he whipped up this three-layer cake, and I believe Jenny Cush did the decorating on it, and and it was an amazing party, and yeah, AJ was nice enough to co-host or to like host the birthday bash for us, and
Nice.
it's been cool. And since then we're gearing up for some new launches this summer, some new stuff, new offerings and whatnot. So, like I said, we're gonna be national this year, so we're excited for that. And hoping to continue to help nonprofits and these groups get together, and get things either legalized or to a point where the feds won't interfere with us.
Well, I think I think we're changing the minds of a lot of our state legislators, and I don't think I think we're winning the battle of their opinion. I think they're going to start standing up for states' rights. I think they have no choice. When you've got 80% of your population saying this is wrong, you have to listen.
You're supposed to listen, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's your job. You work for us. We don't work for the government.
Exactly.
And it's got to get back to that, or shit's going to get ugly. I mean, it's really, that's the way it is. There's a very diplomatic, peaceful way for this to end. I hope that's the way it goes. Cannabis I see as a pillar to change in our society. There's so many angles to that we can replace so many things that are bad and that are killing both our people and our earth with a plant. We've got to get over this stigma, and what we all do on a daily basis is key to that, educating. So kudos to what you guys do, man. Tell us, Canapages, what service, if I move to the state, why do I want to go to Canapages? Why do I want to visit your website?
Well, besides having a news feed from all the cannabis type news sites and blogs around the country, we do listings primarily, so we'll have all the dispensaries listed and then all the doctors as well, so you're able to go to one of them closest to you, get your red card, and then go be able to find a dispensary. So
I need to put you in touch. Our friend from the Springs, Audrey Hatfield from C4CPR, we highlight her organization as well, and she's moving into Denver. She offers discounts for patients, that type of thing. So I definitely need to get you two in touch. You'd be a great partnership to help her get the word out about what she's doing to help patients and vice versa.
We to any of these groups, we offer our services at discount prices, just because we want to have someone in the industry to be able to design and do this kind of stuff for them who knows basically the industry. So.
Sure. Yeah, we'll work that out, man. Well, what I want to do now, we're going to cut to just another commercial break in a couple minutes, but we're going to play this call, and I'm going to make my producer cue it up before commercial. We're going to lead into our next segment. My beautiful, wonderful, smart, talented co-host, Miss Elisa Kappelman, is facing charges by an evil, evil man in El Paso County named Dan May. Dan May has it in his mind that all cannabis people, not even patients, just people, were evil. So we're going to address her case. She's got a trial coming up on June 4th, which is making, I think, all of us very nervous.
It's coming up quick.
So we're going to cut to this call right now and go to commercial after that, and we'll be back to talk about it. Peace.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
This is Lee.
Hey, Lee, this is Jason from My Cannabis Radio. We spoke last week.
Yeah, what's up, Jason?
Well, I was following up on the questions I've submitted last week.
We can't speak about a case that's open, as I said.
Okay, but you guys did, and we recorded all our conversations. Elisa Kappelman's case.
I just can't comment on a case that's pending.
Right. I just want to put something out there. We're doing a show tonight about Elisa Kappelman's case. We focus a lot on the Springs. Her case is such a huge waste of taxpayer money. All of her paperwork was in order. She was tied in with another grow. Those cases have since been separated, and then, you guys were supposed to meet with her and Rob Corey last week. This week, you canceled for no reason. It could have been dismissed and we could be over and done and move on to more pressing matters. So, I mean, I'd like to submit that question to you guys in the hopes of getting a response.
We can't comment on pending cases.
I mean, you have no comment as to why we're using taxpayer money to prosecute someone who was completely in line with every state law?
We can't comment on pending cases.
Okay, so I guess that's your guys' statement. All right, ma'am, thank you. She is not going to like me anymore.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub, and this is Dust. We're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime, and we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp warehouse. That's right, you can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel, WPTVJDub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing. Ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
Welcome back to Overgrow the Radio. Hi.
Hi, we're back.
We're going to put you in the hot seat. So I did my best for you on the phone.
I love that you called.
She was very robotic. I think I wore out my welcome there.
I don't think she likes you very much.
No, I don't think so. We're dialing up Pete Weber. Pete's another friend of mine who runs a legal practice up in Boulder.
Hello, Peter Weber.
Hey, Peter, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, man. This is Jason at Overgrow the Radio. We're live here with my co-host / guest tonight, Lisa Kappelman. We're gonna talk. We're gonna spend the rest of the time talking about her ordeal down in the Springs.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
So, Pete.
Good.
What we want, if you just want to sit back, we're just now jumping into this, so we're gonna let Elisa kind of start from the beginning and tell us how this ugly, horrible, nasty ordeal ever even happened.
Actually,
Okay,
I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I am. So I'm a 52-year-old. I have a daughter who's 24 who just graduated from honors at
Congratulations, young lady.
Yep, she graduated with honors at UCCS and in psychology. And I was a technical trainer for about the last 20 years. The last job I had, I worked at Hewlett-Packard and did training for them, computer training. I did sales training, customer service training. And I tell you that to let you know that I'm just like just about everybody else. I was a tax-paying American citizen, and I was hit by a car when I was about 13 years old. And so I have a lot of back pain. And I've used cannabis most of my life. And when I first decided to grow some marijuana, I decided I wanted to do it legally. So I went out and I got my red card here in Colorado, and realized that growing cost me quite a bit of money. Buying the lights, buying the tent, all that stuff. So I decided, well, maybe I'll just be a caregiver for a few people. And so my partner and I got together and decided that we would rent a little bitty warehouse, which was about 700 square feet, and we would get some patients, and we were actually giving away an ounce a month to our patients when we first started out. We had 3 rules of business. The first one was, don't go to jail. I violated that rule. Our second one was to take care of some patients, and these were in order of importance. And the third one was maybe make some profit. We failed at that one because I've had all these legal expenses.
Well, and without your first rule, if you're in jail, you can't help patients.
Yeah,
I think
it makes
that's
it
the whole
hard.
issue here.
It makes it hard.
Yeah.
But what we did was we obtained several patients by placing ads, and we're giving them an ounce a month. And at one point, we reduced it down to about a half. I think we were giving them a half ounce a month at the time that they rated us. This was before 1284 had passed. This was 2 years ago. I have had the felony cultivation and possession charges for 2 years now. I've also got a charge of a concentrate, which is kind of a joke, because the concentrate that they think they found was actually trim that we were saving to give to patients to make brownies and stuff like that. Or oil.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was actually low-grade trim that they're calling a concentrate. But I had paperwork for all of my patients, and I didn't have red cards because the state at the time was not issuing red cards.
Sure.
And so they're saying I didn't have any red cards. Well, all of my patients subsequently got red cards. And at that time, paperwork was legal.
And all of your paperwork as a caregiver was also in order and
Yes.
displayed. I mean, I know you weren't present when they came into your grow. I've heard this story once. I'm sorry if I jumped ahead a little bit on you
that's
there.
All right.
Everything was displayed as I addressed in the phone call, Pete. I don't know if you caught the phone call to Dan May's office that we made. We played it during the break. Yeah, if not, you should definitely go back. We've been bugging Dan May a lot lately.
Yeah, I've been watching it for a while now. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
well,
I mean, continue.
So how our grow got rated was there were 5 growers in the same building that we were renting in. They were all separated out. They were all each individual units. In fact, the other growers were working for other dispensaries, so in fact our competition. one of the growers was kind of an idiot, and he would leave his garage door open all the time. And you can't imagine what would happen if somebody saw a bunch of cannabis plants sitting there.
In Colorado Springs.
Yeah, he got robbed.
Yeah.
Is what happened.
Yep.
And they called the police, and he told the police they weren't keeping good enough eye on the building because we were all growers. Well, the police decided that was their cue to go in and start investigating. Well, they didn't investigate. They just raided. What they did was they got Homeland Security, and they flew in a plane. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. They spent 4 hours over Colorado Springs. I don't know if it took them 4 hours to just go over my building back and forth. But they spent a lot of money, and they didn't take anything when they raided me. They just left a list of everything they'd found. That list did not include, when you walked in the door at eye level, there was a city and state sales tax license in the name of Southern Colorado Medical Marijuana. Do you think there was maybe marijuana growing there?
Right.
And if they had done any investigation before they broke my steel door down, if they'd went to the Secretary of State, all they'd have had to do was put in the address, and it would have brought up our business license.
Sure. I mean, I want to get Pete's input right here, but I also want to make a point that, we've got all this regulation, and in my opinion, somewhat over-regulation, but something as simple as this, that they should have been able, which I know they did, and I'll let you get into that, they should have been able to walk right into whatever office pertained to whoever was involved in the raid, shown their paperwork, and this should have been done. We should not have ever wasted a cent of taxpayer money on Elisa or anyone in her situation. So, Pete, I'm going to ask your opinion right there on how that went down.
So there were 5 people or 5 different units that were all being used for the same purposes, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so initially, when you were charged, did they try to charge you with the other individuals or the other units or owners thereof?
They charged us all as co-defendants, even though we didn't know each other.
Yep. Okay. And so were they trying to allege that you guys had some big drug ring going on kind of deal?
We had an officer testify at one of my hearings that often what drug dealers do is they all rent in different names so that if one of them gets busted, the rest of them will be okay. So he was trying to say we were all colluding.
Okay. Yeah, because I've seen similar things in other counties to where, numerous houses may get raided on the same block, and just because they're neighbors, they've tried to tie them together as some big conspiracy when, in doubt, they're just providing a very valuable service to people and helping save lives.
Well, the other people there were my competition. It wasn't like I was working with them.
Right. And so let's just so that we can clarify for everyone else that's listening, before 1284, there was no 5-patient limit, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that was where you were. So you were caring for 20 patients, and
yes.
What, you had 99 total? Is that what they counted?
We had 99 total. There was 18 clones that I had cut the night before that they had counted in that 99. So actually, those were.
So there's only 81.
That's exactly.
So 81 divided by 20, that's like 4 and a fraction. So you were under the actual 6 plant per patient, with regards to the bare minimum or the exception based on Amendment 20.
Dan May likes to attack people who are under their plant limit. I believe Bob was under his as well, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes, it is truly a shame. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars as well, in my opinion. I only wish I had enough years of legal experience to run for district attorney, because I almost did. So.
Well, you know what, man? We're actually looking for a candidate. Move to the Springs. We'd love to have you.
Yes.
I bet I know a board down there that might endorse you.
I'll run your campaign.
So we're gonna. I think we're gonna take a break, Pete. But can we keep you with us for a bit?
Oh yeah. I'll stick on for a while.
All right, brother. Well, we're gonna be right back. Hang out and listen to our lovely commercials, and we'll continue with this tragic tale of Dan May's whatever he's doing. Peace. We love you here on Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub. And this is Dust. We're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime, and we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp Warehouse. That's right, you can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel WPTVJDub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing, ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado, and remember,
always be kind to each other.
Are we back? Oh, we're live. There was no lead-in music. It really threw me for a crazy loop. Wow. Okay, we'll get used to it. Yeah, I'm shaking it off right now. So this whole ordeal, I know as a friend of yours and Bob's, you've both become like family, and watching you guys go through this makes me antsy, makes me nervous. You know, I've had my own run-ins over the years, and it's even a brief encounter can be very traumatic and tax you as a person, your psyche. So I guess my question is, you know, you're still going through this after 2 years, which is just, I laugh, and that's a laugh of absurdity. Obviously, it's ridiculous. I guess my question is, what impact does that have on you as someone who has to deal with this continuously, day after day?
Well, the stress has taken a big toll on me. I think that's part of what law enforcement counts on, is when they stretch things out, when they don't have a case, they think you'll take a plea. Of the 7 people that they picked up that day, everyone but me took a plea. And I don't blame those people for taking pleas. Most of them made too much money to get a public defender, but didn't make enough money to actually pay for an attorney, which is a spot that many people who are in legal problems get into.
Well, the poor folks are, I mean, statistically targeted by our legal system in all aspects. Cannabis does not exclude that statistic at all. So absolutely,
but,
that's what they count on.
Some of the things that this has cost me, I mean, my health has went downhill. I had asthma previous to this, that I would use a rescue inhaler maybe once or twice a year. I'm on daily 2 different drugs for asthma now, because stress and asthma are greatly related.
Sure.
I'm using cannabis oil because I can't sleep at night, and I'm having a hard time eating. I've lost 40 pounds. Which didn't hurt me any, but I don't think this is probably, the felony diet is probably not the way to do it.
It's kind of like the crystal meth diet. It's bad. You don't want to do it.
You get skinny, but it's
that
not
was
good.
Just a joke on Saturday Night Live. Don't do it.
But this has cost me a tremendous amount of money. I hired a lawyer in the beginning and found out that he was probably not who I wanted to represent me in court. Hired another attorney, and so that cost me close to 20 grand. They also have taken away my ability to work. My center could not be licensed because the police department in Colorado Springs would not sign off on my license. Apparently I am guilty until proven innocent.
Well, and in case Pete doesn't know, we addressed whatever our NARC unit is in Colorado Springs. I always forget their initials.
V&I.
V&I, I'm sorry. I apologize, fellas. Not really. But we addressed them with questions, and they answered them. And the response to that question, you know, I think I asked something along the lines of, you know, how do you justify having policemen on the force with a longer record than Elisa Kappelman, but you won't let her work in her own business that she started?
Oh, I guess that's something I should mention. I've never been in trouble in my entire life. I have a traffic ticket 20 years ago for an illegal left turn, but that's the extent of my great...
I venture to guess that like 1 in 4 cops probably have more of a record than that. And their response to that question was, of course, no response, as we heard on the Call to Dan May, they like to say. So,
yes.
But this has cost me relationships. I mean, I found out who my friends are. I found out who my family is.
Sure.
But they've taken away my ability to work. We had to hire 3 people to take my place because I had to sell my business.
Sure. I mean, it's very taxing. I think you watch, you know, people to jump out of your case like Richard Lee, who spent his life, you know, dedicated to the cause, and unfortunately had probably been harassed for a while, I'm guessing, and the raid was just that point where he couldn't take it. And I think, you know, I think part of the reason we're friends is you're a very strong person. I think it's a very big statement what you're doing. The fact that everyone else involved in this case is plead out, and you're not doing that. The fact that you've been to hearing after hearing of ridiculousness I've been to some that I've heard things and I had to bite my tongue not to laugh. Some of the things said by the prosecution and different witnesses.
We've had the police perjure themselves on the stand, actually lie.
Oh no, I can't imagine that. Is it Lieutenant Bain and Sergeant Limpcool? Yeah, I've never heard them lie on the stand. They told us one time that they would store cannabis as pursuant to the Supreme Court case that was ruled they had to in a court case until the court case was settled. They would do that. They would obey Supreme Court decisions, but one time they had to evacuate one of their warehouses because of mold on cannabis. So
they were either smoking it or.
Well, I won't mention the other person's name because when we go to your guys' hearings, we do try to be, respectable and be a good presence. But when they said that, we both laughed out loud. And we actually got, this was at Bob's hearing, I apologize, and his public defender, rightly so, scolded us like school children afterwards. But, some of the ridiculousness that I've heard at your guys' hearings, and I think that's a big reason, not just because you're my friend and Bob's my friend, but that I want to call this out. I don't care what county it is in Colorado or what state it is in the nation, if people's civil rights are being violated like this, and it's just an atrocity, and it's a disservice to not only yourself, your family, your kids, but every future generation not to address this and not to call it out now. I think, I foresee the best happening in your situation. I hope you're staying optimistic.
I am. One of the things that really makes me mad about the police is they didn't include, what is it? Pete, help me out here.
Exculpatory evidence.
That's it. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, they left out paperwork, didn't they?
Yes. On my grow room door, I had a big sign that said, "This is a legal medical marijuana grow," and I had the patient recs in plastic see-through folders taped to the door. When they broke in and broke down my $1,200 steel door, which they hit 12 times with a battering ram.
Dangerous plants inside.
They tore all that stuff down off the door and walked on it so that they could take pictures without that being up. And they didn't include that in their evidence. I also had more patient records sitting on the table in a big, bright pink file. And it's really funny, the pictures that they took of my grow, that file's not there.
Mysteriously vanished. Huh. Well,
so it was all left there afterwards, right?
I'm sorry, what?
When you came back, the paperwork was all still there, and they took samples. They didn't take any of the actual plants, correct?
That's correct. And they just threw all my paperwork on the floor and walked on it.
Isn't there some? Pete, is that treating patient records like that? Is there grounds in these cases for HIPAA violations against these officers for that?
Well, the biggest part with all of these cases is that they have not been established through the appellate law and, up to the Supreme Court yet. So there are a lot of areas that have been defined by bills or acts, but have not been taken to the next level. And what we're finding is each county kind of does it differently, but the real nasty counties that are really harsh on these things are trying to get away with as much as they possibly can. And I've seen that before in my representation of other people. And you guys hit a really good point earlier about, how our whole system is set up for the plea offers. And I take my hat off to you, because not too many people have the courage to go through and actually go to trial when they're being charged with something, that's pretty much tenfold of what they really could possibly be charged with. The consequences in your case, I'm sure they probably threaten to take all the offers all off of the table if you go past a certain point.
Yes. I had a plea offer that was ridiculous. It was a 3-year felony, and I had to pay fines, I had to do community service, and I could never work in the industry again. That was my offer.
Well, yeah, as long as you pay them money and you know, everything will be okay. That feed the system, Lisa.
Yeah. So would you have been on probation then, too,
Yes.
for 3 years under that offer?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, and then under our current rule, how they're handling it all right now, currently, you wouldn't have been able to consume cannabis then either for years.
And I own a medical marijuana center, and I could never work in the business again.
Because you're a convicted felon.
Yeah.
For
And
life is what this said.
Well, under 1284, if you're a convicted felon, then no, you cannot work in any cannabis-related anything. I think, you know, that's one of the points I love about Initiative 70 is it clarifies that. Like, you can go get drunk and beat your wife and kids and go to prison for 10 years and get out and have that alcohol conviction and go work anywhere.
Well, you can
Try
murder
that.
somebody.
Absolutely. Try that with cannabis. It doesn't work. So, hey, we're going to cut out for one more quick commercial. We're going to come back for like 10 minutes. You can stay with us, Mr. Weber, if you'd like. And we're going to finish this up. We got to plug Miss Banda's book so we know how to buy it and read it. It's a great book. We'll be right back on Overgrow Radio.
Peace.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding, Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
What's up, Colorado? This is J-Dub. And this is Dust, we're the Weed Pimps. That's right. Come on down to our warehouse at 62A Mount View Lane, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80907. Any day of the week, anytime. And we will show you glass blowing, screen printing, and everything we do at the Weed Pimp Warehouse. That's right, you can get your custom screen print. We also do rush orders. If you need a heat press, we can get that done. That's right. Also check out our mobile advertising. In the meantime, get with us on Weed Pimp Clothing on Facebook and on the YouTube channel, WPTVJDub. And if you need to get a hold of us at our warehouse, the phone number is 913-484-4550, 719-684-5793. Ladies of Colorado, we've kept you in mind. Look out for our full line of The Ganja Girl. That's right. If you want to look fly, make sure you get your smoking gear. Weed Pimp Clothing. Ladies first. Ganja Girl approved.
Ganja Girl approved.
There's my music.
All right, now we know what we're doing.
Now I'm normal again. Life is good.
Normal?
Well, that's debatable. If you know me, I don't think that's the case. Yeah. So I think we got a little bit of time left here. We got to call out Dan May. We got Pete on the line still, and we'll get everyone's little 2-minute input here. We got to call out Dan May. We got to call out anyone across the state and across the nation making policies and enforcing policies like this. When a person in any position takes an oath to the Constitution, they take an oath not only to not enforce unjust laws, but to protect you and I as citizens against these unjust laws. And I don't see that. There's no protection against these laws. They're using these laws to prosecute people and feed a private prison system and a judicial system that banks 60% of their money off cannabis. If it weren't for people like Elisa Kappelman and Bob Kraus, people that are dying or people that are helping dying people being thrown in prison, their stockholders would be broke. People would be unhappy. What is not happening here is these minions, these robots like Dan May, like Limpcule and Bain. They don't see this. They don't see the big picture of what's going on in society. What they see is their paycheck and their four-wheel drive and their fucking six-pack on the weekends. And pardon my French, but it's come to that. That's my 2 cents. I would love, on the flip side of that, I'm a very civil person when it doesn't involve my friend. And you guys are more than friends. You guys are family, of course. But I would invite anyone on the flip side of this argument to sit in the chair across from me and justify what they are doing with their life. Why are you busting down her door? Why are you busting down Bob Kraus's door? Why are you prosecuting him? Why are you wasting money? You know, let's have that conversation because that's what it's all about. We're all people. We all have to move forward together. So I love you guys like family, and I will be there as much as I can. The last thing that I'm going to say is we've decided here at Overgrow on June 4th, we'll be in front of the El Paso County Courthouse doing a live broadcast for the protest at whatever time it may be. I'm going to say 7:30 a.m. We encourage everyone from Denver, Boulder, anywhere in the state to be there. It's a protest for both Bob and Elisa. We have to call Dan May out on these. We need to set a precedent and end this right now.
Oh, I need to add to this that I didn't get arrested right after the raid. What happened was they didn't take anything when they raided us except samples, and then this was early May. In late August, the Gazette-Telegraph ran a article about all these raids that the police department had done, all the units that they'd used, all the money that they'd spent on these planes. Why weren't there any arrests? And 2 days later, I got arrested. They're just trying to cover their butts.
It's public image. And you know, I saw a sad thing when I was with Occupy that, you know, our mayor, I dealt with every public official in Colorado Springs for the most part, had a face-to-face or phone or email contact. Our mayor made the statement that he won't talk to his voters. That's the attitude of people like this, and that's the attitude that's got to change, like we talked about earlier. These guys and ladies work for us, and they need to realize that. They need to realize where they're at and what the opinion of the voters is that they're serving.
I don't think
Period.
they care.
Well, it's time they start caring, and we're working every day to make sure they do. Miss Banda, we're going to get you in here real quick because we kind of cut you off earlier. You've got a book, and I've paged through it. I have not sat down and read the whole thing from cover to cover. I am horrible about that, but I know it's very good. It tells your story.
I actually read part of it last night.
Nice. There's a lot of books in our world that friends of mine have written that I'm yet to read. So I want you to plug how folks get a hold of you, because I do think this is a must-read for anyone that has any relative suffering from a condition similar.
Oh, absolutely. I wrote it to help those who are going through their own process so that they can expect to know what could possibly happen to them while they're healing, that it's absolutely painful, but that it's okay, because healing can be painful. I also wrote it for not only for the patients out there who would like to try this and experiment with themselves, but I wrote it for anyone out there who disagrees with this plant. I came out here to Boulder from Kansas, and a lot of people, I got chastised for naming the book "Live Free or Die" and then putting the snake on the cover like a godsend flag. But I had to explain to people, I didn't really write the book for the Democrats and the progressives. This is people, the Republicans and the conservatives of the Midwest, that I wrote it for, because I was one of those people. I didn't really, I didn't use cannabis until my husband was holding my hair back as I was puking in the toilet. And, you cry because it's so helpful compared to anything that they had ever given me. So, I just really want to help as many people as possible. And through me telling my story, I was able to tell it in such a way that you almost live my sickness with me. So you just can't deny what this plant can do. It absolutely is a miracle. I was on my deathbed.
Well, we share a common ground in that we both were on a ton of pharmaceuticals. And when you're in pain and you're dealing with an illness of any sort, everything's very real. So it's very easy to tell that story minute by minute and get the readers in. So if I wanted to purchase your book, where would I do that?
You can go to Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. It's anywhere online.
So you're like famous.
And very inspiring.
Yeah,
Very
what
inspiring.
I want to do, Shauna, is I want to get you back on. You're fairly local here. You made a little bit of a commute in for us tonight, and we appreciate that. You've got a great story, and we like to highlight great stories. We like to get stories like yours out. People in prohibitionist states don't know the wonders of the plant, and that's really what I push to teach people is, not only can this be medicine, it can be industry, it can be everything. The hemp plant can cure our world if we let it.
Yeah.
We just have to let it.
Yeah. I really wish that people, once you read the book, get one, send one to your legislature, send one to the clergyman, your local clergyman, your teachers, every head person in your community, and get them educated, because, it's pretty, I get pretty detailed in that book. It was actually just a personal journal. So,
sure.
Just getting it out there for others so that it will just help.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people I know, when I was down really bad before you learn how to cope over time with your condition. And people sometimes need that inspiration. So thank you for sharing your life with the world and getting people through that.
Absolutely.
Let's get you back on real soon. We'll talk again, I'm sure.
I think it's terribly important to educate people, and I think she does a really good job in that.
Yeah, kudos and thank you for all that you do. Absolutely. That's our life here. That's what we try to do every week. We got to mention real quick, we've got some other great programming here. Next week we're going to have the ladies from Sexpot Radio on. Yay, that's going to be fun.
You're going to have way too much fun with that.
It's going to be interesting, I'm sure. Mark Slaw is going to be in, I believe, or maybe not Mark. He may have a replacement next week, but we're going to do a legislative.
He's going to miss the Sexpot girls.
I know, right?
What's
Poor
wrong
Mark.
with Mark?
I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, we've got an exciting show next week, and if you haven't heard Thunderdome yet, you should. If you don't listen to Georgia and Amy already on The Cure, you should. And we also have some great sponsors. Lisa, do you remember our sponsors?
Let's see.
I'm kidding. I know our sponsors. Do you?
I believe I remember. We have The Realm and the Indispensary out of Colorado Springs. We have Southern Colorado Medical Marijuana. We also have Green Monster Glass in Colorado Springs and the famous Weed Pimps. Did I miss anybody?
I think you got it. And, you know, we're always looking for sponsors on iCannabis Radio for all the shows if you're interested. You don't have to be cannabis related. You can get in touch with us here at the station through multiple emails. Just visit our website for details. All right, I think we're going to wrap this up. It's been an amazing show. We've got a ton going on. You personally have a lot going on. You've got a couple weeks before the big day.
Come and join us June 4th at the Apostle County Courthouse. At noon, we're going to have a birthday party for Bob Krause, who's turning 64.
Yeah, my birthday's 3 days afterwards, so I told him I want to share birthday cake.
There's going to be a barbecue and birthday cake at lunch at the courthouse. So.
And don't forget, we're doing a live broadcast that morning, 7:30 a.m. Public land. We'll have our iCannabis table out there broadcasting.
It'll be great.
So be sure to come down and bring all your friends. Let's celebrate the idiocy in our system together. Until next time, please get out there and educate people about what you heard tonight. These people are being unfairly prosecuted, and this has to end or our society will not make it. But on a positive note, we love you, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent. Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and